Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Crew 2 in Part 81. Race number 7 of 8 of the USB Tour Cities will go to America's heart capital of Washington, D.C. After race number 6 is turning out very good and all-time summer season in Los Angeles at Long Beach is very thrill, excitement, and have the standard and endurance will have to go all in without having a change of weather forecast. This will have to go down as a penultimate to be entered on number 7. The track layout on Washington, D.C. is going to be a bit much more different as we've been already participating in the live summit event. However, this will have to go by having a differences to go by having a full straightaway by having a start and finish line after the final corner on the Capitol Hill. It turns out very good, strategize, and have everything that we had to go driving up on the main course is about to go for urban racing on the touring competition. But you'll have to find out soon as I'm about to be choosing and quick travel to be using with the Chevy Corvette CAR will be switching up and go fast favorite after finishing up on the Porsche 911 Carrera RSR Turbo Post Performance Edition. Time for the UDRS Insportec livery to be entered and take the 7th stage. We'll have to go by standard race of endurance to be racing around by the Capitol Hill. Is going to have to take every strategy for only one of the famous iconic location and landmarks in Washington, D.C. So here we go, folks. The countdown begins in about 3 seconds, and let's make America to go proud. We're off.
Wow, 2 races to go. And this first one is through the heart of America's capital. They call it the District of Columbia because it's not a part of the 50 states, of course. But that doesn't mean it's neutral. And these drivers today won't be in neutral either. It's top gear thereafter. So let's see them rip through Washington.
Alright, let's give a democracy to have a warm welcome surprise to the United Defense Reformation Service Racing Team brand. Insportec is in the lead. Gotta make sure if I had to keep it careful to have some tight turns and some length to get shorter to have some chicanes to go crossing in. Gonna have to recognize the turns and just have to do a lot of good skill of racing whenever you're about to go with the American touring car by the spec of class. So we're almost there to have the first lap to go to the final corner, make the right turn and see Capitol Hill. First lap coming in towards the end and give it a full straight to be preferred to be using the left side of the track as lap number 2 enters. Okay, close call. Perfect signal to have a good cue on the brake zone.
Well, it's been pretty smooth racing along the National Mall so far, but they're turning now into the Administrative District, where they'll have to start contending with some much sharper turns. Let's see how they handle that.
See that, folks? The straightaway is going to have to get a little bit tighter out there to have some sharp turns for only one race car at a time. That's how every racetrack in America and the capital itself is going to have to give everything what we have to be racing to be proud as a patriotic and have a motorsport or racing entertainment. Maybe if motorsports should rather have a track racing layout to go by specifically to be around on Washington, D.C. That will make Uncle Sam to be surprised and give it an unexpected to have a proud entertainment of motorsports. So final lap coming in, you guys. This is it. Let this be considered to have a good proper warm-up to see how American race cars will always have to be proud and stronger to this day. It's all about democracy. Gonna have to slow down and keep up the tight turns to go shorter by the length. Make that right turn on the 90-degree angle. So there you go. Checkpoint clear and proceed.
Reaching the end of that first series of 90-degree turns, making their way back onto the National Mall.
And here comes the final corner, just passed by as the checkpoint to go proceed at the Capitol Hill, nearly there, and finish line to go check by the podium.
Wow, and that's a wrap for Washington. Great day, great racing, and even greater things still to come. Next up, we'll be racing through the loop and the north side of Chicago.
Alright, that should do very good, and warm-up practice complete for only one part of the stage of today's segment in part 81. But it'll have to be patient soon on part number 82, we'll have to go up north and heading up to the Midwest regions of Chicago. It's about to get nearly there, and we're almost there, you guys. Only one race to have two types of the Papillon to go by standard and endurance is all about to have a good racing of competitive on the 7th stage in America's capital. Gonna have to go back to the same spot. Let's participate to go on endurance and keep using my same Corvette CAR UDRS Insportec livery. But this time, I'll have to switch up onto the interior view. We'll have to go by full endurance competition to be set, ready, and go. Everything I got to have 10 laps on 9 turns. Let's do this, folks. Let the countdown begins in about 3, 2, 1, and go.
Wow, 2 races to go. And this first one is through the heart of America's capital. They call it the District of Columbia because it's not a part of the 50 states, of course. But that doesn't mean it's neutral. And these drivers today won't be in neutral either. It's top gear they're after. So let's see them rip through Washington.
Here I go, folks. Team UDRS Insportec is in the lead. Just have to keep a tight turns coming in after turn number 4. Number of corners and 90-degree angled sharp turns is going to have to take us some skills and defense, as the main opponents will have to go further up on offense. But it'll have to go by having another part of endurance to go for 10 laps. We'll have to get racing and see some sightseeing tour around on Washington, D.C. Gonna have to go proceed to the final corner to be passed by on the Capitol Hill. Make the inside to go checkpoint clear. There we go. Have the left side to go enter lap number 2. Here it comes. First and second turn, we'll have to pull the brake.
Well, it's been pretty smooth racing along the National Mall so far, but they're turning now into the Administrative District, where they'll have to start contending with some much sharper turns. Let's see how they handle that.
Okay, looks like pretty safe and pretty clear for only one touring car only when entered to have that short, sharp turns. So be very careful, try not to do anything else to be crowded, just try to learn to be patient. Every race, we'll always have to do some tight turns and some clear spaces whenever you're about to go find a good line to be racing up on different turns on the layouts. But that will have to take some good, excellent challenge to see how some other GT cars to be racing up and go competitive to have that single endurance around on Washington, D.C., the America's most capital. Here comes the dirt lap. Change of forecasts are about to go surprising within a few minutes, are about to go rain. So turn 1 clear. Now going in on turn number 2. Okay, I'm going the right way. Have turn number 3 to be checked and clear. Okay, here goes. Rain condition is already here. I'm always well prepared to do this, folks. Just like New York City, and especially to have the previous race from Miami on number 5. It'll have to go down and keep a good motion to have the traction to stay safeties on. Okay, checkpoint clear on the final corner at the Capitol Hill. Next lap on number 4. Gonna have to make it slow. Proceed on turn 1 and turn number 2. The only thing for Team UDRS Insportec is all about having one other thing to have an important goal in common when it comes to be racing and freedom. The answer is, democracy is all about to have the best possibility for all Americans out there who just really wants to have democracy. It's all about the land of the free and have the most every expression that every Americans who just really want to have both blue to save democracy.
Reaching the end of that first series of 90-degree turns, making their way back onto the National Mall.
Okay, gonna have to go press on to have the 10th turn. Gonna have to keep it nice and clean and update on the gap to keep it motion on 5.1 seconds as the pit lap rolling in. So it turns out the rain stopped and the wet surface is still yet coming around to have a few minutes until everything is going to be dry. But my Corvette CAR has now been born prepared to do this. It's gonna have to take a bit more patience, racing up and keep the progress to go around by 44% till adding up by one more. Talk about having one Grand Touring racing event in America's capital is what Uncle Sam just really think about it to have a dot of idea. Well, I just really think about racing is the most joy of entertainment to see some spectators around in America. But people in Washington DC just really have to think if there's going to be a racing circuit to be around on each part of the areas of Washington DC. So halfway there is going up by 50% complete. Keep going. I'm just gonna have to keep a good patience and be respectful as an American racing driver. As turn 2 clear, just have to go by turn number 3 and 4. Brake check and good motion line.
They say lawmaking in Washington is all about the technicalities, and that's true of this race as well. It's undoubtedly a technical one. Do not try this at home, folks.
Alright, very good tip from the USST organizer. Don't ever try this at home, folks. Okay, still in 5.9 seconds is on the gap. Got to make the next 2 checkpoints proceed on to the current lap. Hold it in and go climbing up a little bit to be stepping up on the left side track as the 6th lap to go entered into number 7. So in the meantime, there's going to be a second wave of rain coming up soon. Just have to be on the lookout on the weather forecast if things might have to keep a good safety measures when you're clear on the first position, or just have to go forming up as a crew. It's all about the race and the competition that we just always had to keep trying so far out there from other races to go by the same type of endurance. And there it goes right now, second wave on the rain. Alright, there you go for only 6.1 seconds, adding up by 0.3 more. Checkpoint clear and proceed. Okay, gonna have to go back on turn 1. Just try not to go oversteer. Turn 3 and 4 diving in. Well, possibility to go by method. If I had to go, prefer to have turn 5 in point A. Turn 6, 90-degree sharp turns is doing on the right. Turn 7, same as ever on the right. Okay, go by in on turn number 8. Okay, turn 9, check, clear, and go for having another 90-degree angle
turn. And there's the U.S. Capitol building
10.
up ahead, where both houses of Congress are in session today. Though I bet you anything there's at least one congressman watching the race from the windows.
Well, at least the congressmen just really had to do some working hours when they're in the Capitol. That's why it's all about to have some other things to do for racing up on the track. Perfect times and good races to see some spectators around in Washington, D.C. and most importantly, there might be some more spectators inside the buildings who just really want to see the nice view. So the progression is now climbing up to be at 84%. Now it's 85. 12.5 seconds on the gap to be received on update. Gonna have to keep trying and stay clean to go safety measures to have a good democracy of clean racing. Gonna have to work all the way to have that one possible racing ejected. Team Insportec will win the race at Washington, D.C. to go closer at the podium. But it's not over yet.
And we're going full speed now on Constitution Avenue, headed toward a right turn beneath the Washington Monument. Hard to believe it today, but when the monument was first completed in 1884, it was the tallest building in the world.
So, in the meantime, if I had to take a trip to go to Washington, D.C., I really might have to take a good look inside the Washington Monument. But everything is so very important for history of the landmarks. But it's all about having some iconic heritage ever since from the 19th and the 20th century. But that would be quite very good to have a good look and see some historical tours to be visiting at the museum. So it's getting closer, 3% to go remaining, and the total time is going over by 10 minutes. Let's bring it home. Finish line has now been arrived, and there you go.
Wow! And that's a wrap for Washington. Great day, great racing, and even greater things still to come. Next up, we'll be racing through the Loop and the north side of Chicago.
All right. Race number 7 is done, and we are getting closer to be finishing up as I'm about to be moving on forward to take on Chicago in the final race of the USB Tour Cities. Great day in America, and great day of racing. And more importantly, great day to have the Chevy Corvette CAR Team UDRS Insportec is now being claimed and achieved to be successful by having a first position to be marked on the highlights by having one Papillon with standard and endurance. Gonna have to zoom out onto the world map, and this is very perfect and remarkable. Excellent track layout, and that's how this race course is actually to be turns out very perfectly to be located in Washington, D.C. Having some 3-district location on downtown, Capitol grounds, and the National Mall. Well, I can't say it turns out very good and proud American racing moment for having a final stage on the penultimate to be racing up on number 7. But in the meantime, it's about to get nearly there and have a one-place location to be heading over to Motorplex Arena after finishing up on 8 races of the USST cities. But Chicago will have to wait coming up soon as I'm about to wrap this up before at the end of the video. But this will have to take one possible decision by choice if I had to go by any touring car pick by standard and endurance. But this time, I'll have to go with 2 touring cars this time before the next video. We'll be on the way until part 82. We'll have to take the final stage until in part 83. Heading up to Motorplex Arena for the USB Tour next is about to go faster, quicker, and have an all-in Alpha Grand Prix race car. Thank you for enjoying watching the video in the Crew 2 folks. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Follow me on Deepnet Art, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Patreon, Discord, and more social media platforms. Plus, memberships are now open to everyone. Will join to get access for price levels a month with exclusive perks, custom emoji with my OCs, and many features to support the channel. It's the best way to help out with the super thanks as an extra will support and grow. I'll be see you guys next time in the Crew 2, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.